while journeying through heaven and bearing witness to the throne of glory, the apex of the universe and where the stars are held, Metatron has given Rabbi Ishmael a view only akin to that of the omniscient Lord, especially with this. You see, what is left for the rabbi to see? A great tapestry depicting all that was and is and will ever be. A manifestation of God's eternity and how he sees the world. 3 Enoch, chapter 44. Metatron said to me, "Come, and I will show thee the curtain of the divine majesty, which is spread before the Holy One. Blessed be he, and whereupon are graven all the generations of the world, and all their doings, both what they have done and what they will do, until the end of all generations." And I went, and he showed it to me, pointing it out with his fingers, like a father teaching his children the letters of the Torah. And I saw each generation, the rulers of each generation, the heads of each generation, the shepherds of each generation, the oppressors of each generation, the keepers of each generation, the scourgers of each generation, the judges of each generation, the officials of each generation, the teachers of each generation, the supporters of each generation, the chiefs of every generation, the magistrates of each generation, the princes of each generation, the counselors of every generation, the nobles of each generation, the men of might of each generation, the elders of each generation, and the guides of each generation. And I saw Adam, his generation, their doing and their thoughts, Noah and his generation, their doings and their thoughts, the generation of the flood, their doings and their thoughts, Shem and his generation, their doings and their thoughts, Nimrod and his generation, the generation of the confusion of tongues, their doings and their thoughts, Abraham and his generation, and their doings and their thoughts, Isaac and his generation, their doings and their thoughts. For brevity, I'm going to intervene here. But the listing goes on to tell of the generations of Moses, Joshua, Samuel, the judges, the kings of Judah, the exile, and then the formation of Israel once more, before reaching beyond the scope of the Old Testament and the sources of its time, going on to see a future world where the judges of the nations of the world, their rulers, their doings, their actions, to a period of war where 16 nations do battle with the kingdom of Israel. And then, of course, to the generation that comes after, which is where we'll resume the direct reading. And I saw Messiah of Joseph, his generation and his works, and the doing they will do against the nations of the world. And I saw Messiah, son of David, and his generation, and all the fights and wars, and the works and the doings that they will do with Israel for good and evil. And I saw all the fights and wars that Gog and Magog will fight in the days of Messiah, and all that the Holy One, blessed be he, will do with them in the time to come. And all the rest of all the leaders of the generations, and all the generations both of Israel and in the nations of the world, both what is done and what will be done hereafter to all generations, until the end of time, all were graven onto the curtain of divine majesty. I saw all these things with my eyes, and after I had seen it, I opened my mouth in praises of the divine majesty, saying, For the King word hath power, and who may say unto him, What doest thou? Whoso keepeth the commandments shall know no evil thing. This is a version of Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verses 4 and 5. And I said, O Lord, how manifold your works! A rendition of Psalm 104, verse 24. How overwhelming to see this tapestry. A flow of information from the past to the future, from the birth of the world in Adam, to Abraham, to Moses, to David slaying Goliath, into the era of the Messiahs, who would fend off the enemies of Israel, to lay them low in preparation for God to make his greatest move. For anyone, this would be incredible. It is hard to blame the Rabbi Ishmael being reduced to someone uttering praises as his only reply. To see how the Lord sees everything, to bear witness to all of history, yet while overwhelming for the mind of a mere man, is how God sees his creation, from beginning to end, every moment being there before, during, and after, just as with the angels. Such astounding things are mundane before the Most High. And as always, thanks for watching.